All right, guys, good morning. Good morning. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of GAR Capital. It is Wednesday, March 1st. Happy new month, 2023. Good to have you on board with me this morning. Before we begin, bottom right-hand corner of your screen, there's a little black logo of ours. Click on that. Turn on notifications, subscribe to our channel. Make sure to like our videos if you do like these videos, and turn on notifications, of course, so you don't miss anything. Let's go ahead and get the day started around the horn. Dow futures down 79 points, NASDAQ up about 31 points, S&P 500 futures down about 11, Russell 2000 futures down about 0.21% at 1895. We did have a boost this morning. We got as high as around 39.90 on S&P futures on some some news from China. Let me see if I can get that headline exactly on exactly what report made stocks jump earlier this morning. Well, really overnight. Let me see if I can get that for you. It was a PMI data that came in from China. So China stocks are up this morning, like BABA. Those ADRs are up this morning, or the gap up. In Asia, China closed up 1% and Japan advanced by 0.3%. The Shanghai Composite rose following a blowout manufacturing PMI results. The official print was 52.6%. That's an expansion. Anything above 50. The estimate was 50.5. The Caxton number of 51.6 also topped the consensus of 50.2. The Hang Seng was the best performing index of the night. That's tech. That was rising about 4%. The Nikkei finished marginally higher in Japan after a relatively small beat on its manufacturing PMI reading. The February print of 47.7 slightly topped the forecast, but was down from 48.9 in January. So that's why we got a little boost overnight, but now we're fading a little bit now. Crude oil 76.58 a barrel, down 0.61%. Gasoline futures $2.64 a gallon. Gold futures are up this morning, with the dollar being down about 0.5%, 104.34 for the dollar. Gold futures are up 0.42%, 18.44. Silver futures up 0.16% at 21.10. 10-year treasury yields continue to climb, 3.955, as that 4% level seems to loom above us. The VIX is at 2075, up 0.24%. There is a gap to fill on the VIX. I just want to give you guys a heads up right at 20. Let me go ahead and bring that up first, and you can see it right here, right at 20.01. We have not filled that gap as of yet. So we'll keep it moving. Euro dollar's up 94 pips, 106.71. That's in direct correlation with the dollar. 135.72, down 50 pips for the dollar yen, and pound dollar is pretty much flat at 120.16. Bitcoin futures up 1.9%, 23,855, pretty much where we were yesterday at this time. 1662 for Ethereum futures this morning. We talked about yesterday how we expected the S&P to be weaker. We did bounce this yesterday. Throughout the day, it was a very choppy session. Didn't add any positions or anything, was just watching. And you could see we're pretty much just ping-ponging here. Not much edge there. So let's go over a couple of levels that I think are key moving forward on the S&P. I just saw a question from Zoom Balloon. Good morning. SPY levels to enter, upside or downside. We'll start with the S&P 500 futures, and then we'll pivot to that on the S&P. Let's go and take a look at S&P 500 futures, the contracts. I have a alert level at, well, not alert, but the 200-day moving average, which we've stayed above. We wicked it about a couple days ago. 39.50, we'll call it 39.49. That's their 200-day. If that breaks, you have 39.34 as the 100-day moving average. So I like that 39.34 could be that next support level. That's right near that trend line. Again, we've only wicked it. Let's see if that holds up. But in terms of SPY, if we can go ahead and take a look at it, really not much edge. I mean, you could see that we're pretty much hugging the 50-day moving average. We're now at 396.71, so we're about $1 away from that moving average. The 200-day will be at 393.13. That is the trend line level. So again, we'll use that as our main support, with our next support down being 390.98. That's the 100. I think right around this level here, on 391 to around 390.98, that would probably be a good place to go ahead and play a bounce. The problem is that you need to go ahead and keep a stop in place where, you know, you may get some wicks or a little more downside acceleration. you need to keep that around 387, maybe 388. So again, the shorter the time frame, if you're trying to take a look at possible reversals, you need to expand a little bit of that stop range, so you don't get stopped out immediately on any kind of news or anything like that, especially if you're looking for certain targets. Keep in mind, we do have a couple of gaps to fill on the upside on SPY. So again, remember I talk about gaps on Instagram. Feel free to take a look at that clip or reel, Instagram reel. But as of right now, you're pretty much in no man's land. In terms of wanting to go long, you need to get above 402.01. That's the level that we need to break, I believe, from last week's, I want to say, was it last week, last Thursday? That's kind of what we're looking for in the market. So again, 402.01 for upside. For downside, you need to take a look at possibly 390, 307. You may run out of room. It's only about $3. So again, I don't think I want to continue to short here unless I'm looking at a continuation breakdown. Maybe we target 390, but again, it's just not enough juice. So again, when it comes to SPY, at least downside, there's not a lot of room where I want to place some puts. If anything, it's going to possibly be the other names, individual names that I want to trade. Speaking of individual names, let's go over a little bit of lesson learning time here on NVIDIA. We talked about this yesterday morning. And again, we do have puts, the 225s. So again, we did have some headlines come in on NVIDIA about a $10 billion offer. That's for capital raise. That's going to be preferred shares, common shares, additional stock bonds, and warrants and purchase orders. So pretty much NVIDIA is just trying to raise some capital here, about $10 billion. If they do common share offering, that means it's going to dilute current shares where you could see some weakness. We were as low as around 228 overnight. Our target, if you guys remember, we talked about this yesterday, was right around 230. We tagged it. Again, it just happened overnight. Starting to get a little bit of that QQQ put vibes that we had prior to CPI. I want to say in January was that hedge that we used and it didn't work out. I still like NVIDIA to the downside. I think we retest that 230 level. We may get continuation down if the stock market continues to fall. But again, that 230 level, the bottom end of that range, that was the level I was looking for anyways. The problem is that we tapped it after market. So, that's just one of those things where we just have to wait. We were down as much as 40% on the trade on NVIDIA. We closed down, I think, about 17 or 18%. So again, we did rally to the downside. You could see right around 1 p.m. And it was tough to hold this. But again, we had our alerts. We had our levels. 238.88 being that resistance. We never got there. So again, we held and then we continued to flip down. A little more pressure to the downside as we expected into the close of the previous month being February. The good news, as we talked about in terms of seasonality, March is bullish. So again, does it mean bullish today? Probably not. We could see if we can get a little more weakness. We'll keep an eye on the market. The dollar being down should be a boom to the market, at least to equities. But you could see the Dow being down 93 and the dollar being down. That's very, very interesting. So again, I'm going to keep an eye on NVIDIA here. I do like where we are. Again, we had that news. We're getting a little bit of some dip buyers here. Again, keep in mind pre-market and aftermarket is very low volume. So let's see when the actual buyers and sellers do come in and react to this news. I expect us to break down below 230. I expect us to take this trade today. I thought we'd get a little more of a gap down, maybe to possibly 227 or even 225 level, which would be our strike. But again, that might be just a little bit of a waiting game. It is only Wednesday. So again, we'll keep an eye on NVIDIA. And that's really the only trade we have open. It's just been chopped all around. A little bit of patience goes a long way, obviously. So we'll see what we get. But right now, the NVIDIA itself, the stock is down about $1 from yesterday's close. Hey, Carlos, I have a question about the 20 MA. You said you use it on the daily for momentum and 1 hour for entry. 1 hour, you wait to close above and below and retest the 20 MA after breaking? No. What I use on the 20 MA on the daily is a barometer to see if we get momentum up or down. Now, again, it doesn't have to be used. Everyone's different. But at least on the 1 hour chart, that's how I base my options trade for entry. I don't look at the moving average on the 1 hour chart. Again, it's just on the daily chart to expand the actual time frame. That's really it. But again, more times than not, I'm looking at the 1 hour chart for entries and market action throughout the day. So again, I kind of use it interchangeably. You can use what works for you guys and see what kind of actual plan is actually best suited to your needs. There's some individuals that can't keep an eye on the market all the time, which is completely fine. They're probably going to be better off swing trading. And there's those who are in front of a screen all day and they want to scalp. So, the saying goes, there's an ass for every seat. So there's always something for everybody. Will you ever have a video on your trading setup? I did do a video. It's on YouTube. It's one of our most viewed videos on our setup, so feel free to take a look in the channel Zoom Balloon, and hope you enjoy the video. Why would ES raise if SDXY goes down? That's a really good question. The only thing I can say that's really causing equities to fall is 10-year yields. Again, we're up 1% on the yield, at least in terms of TNX. So again, we're getting very, very close to that 4% level. Not only that, the dollar is bouncing from its lows overnight. We were right here around 104.11, and the S&P was slightly green. So we're getting a little bit of a bounce in the dollar, at least we're seeing here. We could get some more weakness. Maybe we'll retest that downtrend here around 390, 298, 393 level on SPY. And again, I do expect us to bounce from there. I expected that to happen on the last CPI that we had this month, but we didn't get that. I was a little early. So again, I do expect us to get to around that 200 MA and then bounce from there and probably give us an opportunity to play some calls and play some reversals. So my eyes right now today are really on Nvidia. It looks like it's going to get back to break even, but that's what happens when you have low volume. Again, I guess the headline didn't hurt the stock as previously thought. The good news is that we did hit target. The bad news is that we hit the target pre-market. So we'll see how we open today and go from there. But again, that's the problem with options, is that you don't have a lot of control overnight. With futures, you do. So again, futures you can close at any time as long as it's not between 5 and 6 p.m. That's really the only time you can't really touch futures. But futures gives you a lot more options on what you can do. Remember, options, stock options, 9:30 to 4. That's it. Can't do anything after that. So we'll wait and see how Nvidia does react to that news when the market is open, and we'll keep you guys up to date on the Discord as we go. But in terms of the market in general, again, just really choppy, not much direction. Let's see if we can tap that trend line and play some calls for a bounce into that seasonality for March and see if we can get a continuance. In terms of activity today, let's see, ISM manufacturing PMI, that's at 10 a.m. So again, we'll see how the market reacts to there. But other than that, it's not really much to go by. Rivian earnings and NEO after the close. That's right. I think Rivian is down pre-market. Amazon does own shares, so Amazon is down slightly in sympathy, but Rivian is down about almost $2 this morning. Let's take a look at NEO. I believe NEO is up this morning or bouncing. One of the few Chinese stocks that are down today. As you can see, BABA gapped up to 92.72 from 87.79. Trying to see exactly here. What was the other Chinese company that's pretty big? I want to say Baidu. That was the name I was looking for. So Baidu closed at 137.69. It's now at 146. So all those Chinese tech companies are doing well today on that PMI that we had. So we'll see what we get moving forward. But another day in paradise. Yesterday was a pretty quiet day. Pretty much could have stayed in bed for that one. Really nothing really happened. There was really no opportunities. So let's see if we get something today moving forward. But again, if there's nothing to do, there's nothing to do. We're not going to force anything. So we'll just keep an eye on the market. It seems pretty quiet, at least this week. I say that and watch some craziness happen today. That's usually the case. So we'll leave it there. Have a great rest of your morning. I will catch you guys tomorrow for the morning note at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a great trading Wednesday. Happy new month, and we'll see you then. Cheers.